Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I am your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew. This side of the Doctor, awkwardly calling Admiral Janeway Catherine. I thought it was weird. I don't know if you guys did.
It was weird.
It was
First
weird.
name basis with
First,
a hologram?
I don't know. Hey, hologram rights, Giraffe. Hologram rights.
No, it's just the fact that it's the Doctor that's what makes it weird.
It's the Doctor. That's right. Vice Admiral Eric is here, and I already know we're sharing a doll brain cell early on this season. Captain Hawk is here and really needs the Starfleet Academy IT department on speed dial on his pad. I hope you'll get that joke. Sub-Commander Giraffe is here, and I think she still may have only seen these episodes in French.
I've not. I've watched them in English once.
Yay! And Commander MC is here ready for all the timey-wimey stuff that Doll is furious about that would make the Doctor, and not, the Doctor Who, proud. Welcome
Timey-wimey, not timey-whiny, which is something that's going on.
A little bit of something that's going on. True facts. Welcome back, guys. It's Prodigy season. How we doing?
Exhausted from binging.
Good. Yeah, binge was marathon.
Tired.
I think it's the season of Star Trek, the new season of Star Trek I've seen the most. Like, I think I'm at my fourth watch of the 20 episodes.
That's
yeah.
Commitment.
Well, it was also very hard to watch it in French, so I had to watch it several times because I don't understand Star Trek lingo in French anymore. And they say the hole of the worm, and I went, the hole of the worm? What is the hole of the worm? Oh, the wormhole. So yeah.
Oh man,
that was fun.
That's awesome. Well, if you haven't gathered it yet, this week Prodigy is back, baby. Let's go. We're here to review the 2-episode premiere, Into the Breach. What happens when Doll and Co. are pulled from Starfleet Academy by Admiral Janeway for an important mission aboard Voyager? Who's been thriving? Who's been struggling? Because there's some people on the struggle bus right now. How is Gwyndala received when she arrives on Solum? And how does an unlikely reunion with her father play out? And what secret is Janeway hiding on board Voyager? How does it end up so horribly, horribly wrong? We are going to break it all down. But first, Eric, we need to thank our amazing Patron Collective members at the Ready Room level and above, please.
Thank you to Simon Steger, Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Tallulah, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santo, Kung Hui, Takako Nagumo, Fernando Nogales, SMK, Laura Linderman, Colin Davidson, Shatterhand 2049, Jesco, Michael Graham, Emily and Travis, Gildara, Cassie, Einar. Wait, Einar. Maggie Light, Tyrannokilicus, Wayne Ritz, Gonavark, Sean, Jay Howard, Anna Yerdadon, Mahalani Uchiyama, Matt Harker, Davey Willett, Tara Paulin, Slope74, Rude Parakeet, Joshua Miller, Aaron W., Lanky Guy, Carl Angoli, Michael Kwan, Meredith, Caitlin, Elizabeth Dean, Jim McMahon, Kilt Check, Sedano 317, Pukahar, 3 Fries Short, Cat Tip, Trippin' the Reed Alert over a Pineapple, Sean Manning, Asher CBF, Chris Waterman, RHCB, Martin Simpson, Norman Butchwald, David Prime Hildebrand, Taryn J. Robinson, Ensign Lex A. Pro, Eric the Red, Trouble, Jamie Roberts, and our 2 newest collective members, Honeyberry and Paul Taylor Pitt.
Woo, woo, woo. Welcome to the collective new members. And as always, a big thank you to our Badmirals. One of them named, does he show up yet? He's mentioned. I mean, he's in season 1, so we could talk about him. Jellicoe, he's a Badmiral. He's kind of a Badmiral. Yeah. He's just kind of like not a nice guy, but he's not really a Badmiral. It's hard to call him a
reasonable guy. He's like, stop doing crazy stuff.
That's true.
Please.
Follow orders, God.
Nice save.
He's like, what's his name? Frank Grimes from The Simpsons, where it's like a real person.
Grimy.
So our Badmirals are executive producers Simon Steger, Commander Chris, the Chief Ernesto Castagna, Chris Waterman, and Tara Polin. You guys keep the lights on, our Slipstream drive running, and all of that fun stuff. So we are going to get into some news. Eric, I am going to hand you the floor. because
I see that.
yeah,
I should have read this earlier.
you should have. You're gonna be away for a little bit, so if you just want to say anything before you go.
I'm having surgery, so I'm going to be going away for a bit and recovering. There you go.
And recovering. So Eric, yeah, you'll be gone for a few months. We will miss you. We love you. A few weeks.
Months?
Okay.
I don't know.
He's going he's like, I'm going to recover super quick, but a few weeks. We'll miss you. We will not come doing any time travel, timey-wimey stuff to get you back earlier. We want you to recover fully. But everything will go great. Have a successful surgery, my friend.
Thank you.
Let's see. What else do we have? Prodigy content schedule. Let's talk about that real quick. As you are watching this on Monday, July 1st, this is the first episode of our Prodigy content schedule. And then this Thursday, we will have a live premiere of our mid-season review of Star Trek Prodigy. That'll be episodes 1 through 10. And then next Thursday, July 11th, I believe, will be our final half of the season review, 11 through 20. Patreon collective members who we listed, you guys will all be getting these 3 episodes. You should have them now. All 3 of them. So enjoy them. And you'll be getting all of our episode reviews the Monday before they go live on Thursday on YouTube. And that's how the rest of our schedule is going to work. We're actually going to review the series episode by episode like we always do. We are going to pre-record it just for the sake of our, sanity. We also have other things coming up this summer, like conventions, Vegas, San Diego Comic-Con. So this gives us an opportunity to make sure that we can do live podcasts for other things and get this stuff pre-recorded for you. So every Thursday, all the way into the fall, if Lower Decks comes on in September, October, the Prodigy episodes will move to Mondays and we'll go live on Thursdays for Lower Decks. So just be aware of that when fall comes around. That's it. Any questions, email us at estrangenewpod@gmail.com, but it's pretty straightforward. I believe next up, speaking of conventions, Vegas. We have Vegas coming up at the end of July. That is going to be wild. I am trying to stall as Giraffe eats. And then
no, I'm moving chairs because the chair I have is like creaking, and I know you're gonna be mad at me, so I'm changing chairs.
That's so funny. Me, Giraffe, and a few of our collective members will be in Vegas for the convention out there. It should be a good time. Come find us. We're not working. We're just going to party. So
yeah, we're paying for our tickets, so don't ask us to work.
Yeah, we're not working. We will have, I'm going to order them. I'm going to make sure I order them. We'll have badge ribbons. We'll have a special sticker that I finally actually have a design for. I might design myself. But yeah, we're going to drink, have fun, come say hi. That's about it. Bacon, Giraffe, what's going on?
Yeah, next week already, is it? Yes.
This is coming out July 1st. So.
Oh, so this week.
This week.
In a few days, I will be in Santa Clara, which is near San Francisco, San Jose. And I'm one of the guests of Bacon. Come if you're around. It's a very chill con that I didn't know existed, but now I do. The theme this year is Women in STEM, so I'll be moderating a panel about science in Star Trek. And more precisely, I'm going to be moderating a panel about bugs.
Oh, okay.
I'll be joined by a parasitologist. Her name is Dr. Danielle DeCall, and an entomologist, Dr. Stephanie Dole, and we're going to speak about all kind of little critters in Star Trek, and will they come and eat us or not?
Or crawl up our butts and take over our minds.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that
is Starfleet actually like run by bugs?
Star Trek new projects is. I'm just saying, like, the fact that the butt bugs still have not been really covered in any new Trek is very sus, and I want to know what's going on.
We'll talk everything invertebrate and everything slimy. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's a new science I've not done yet, and I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome. Well, if you are in the Bay Area, go to Bacon, see Giraffe.
4th to the 7th of July.
There you go. Awesome. And then finally, you should go to our friends at heroesandvillains.com, or I think it's actually just heroesvillains.com. You can get a cool shirt like this one. It is a Starfleet just like go explore. It's the Enterprise. You can get a shirt like this. You can get many other awesome shirts, hoodies, bags using our code STRANGE, and you'll get 20% off your first order over there. So go check them out. All right, folks, we are aboard Voyager-A. We are in the mess hall, and we're chatting. We're having a bite. They were eating a lot of burgers in the mess hall. Yeah, right. A lot of burgers. Mm-hmm. Burgers are on the menu, apparently. Una would be very proud. And we're talking amongst ourselves, so let's do a strange new loop. So, in these first 2 episodes, we get the Voyager-A, and we get the crew, and we have Catherine. I called her Catherine. I'm on the first base name with her, too. We have the Doctor, but if you could have one more legacy character on the bridge of Voyager-A in these first 2 episodes, who would it be and why?
Voyager character or like
anybody.
Harry Kim.
Does it have to be make sense or
Harry Kim?
Harry Kim.
Ensign Harry Kim.
I asked Karen.
Not Ensign.
I asked Karen as I was writing the outline the other night, who would it be, and she immediately went Harry Kim.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
What rank would he be?
Lieutenant, junior
grade.
Well, first and foremost, if it's Janeway and the Voyager, I mean, Tuvok's got to be there, right?
I'm kind of surprised that he's not her first officer in Prodigy, not gonna lie, but I like Tysus, so I can't complain.
David Diggs
Well,
is better.
we know he's isn't he an admiral in Picard?
No, he's
What
a
is
captain
he?
at Picard.
He's a captain?
Captain. Yeah.
So he's a captain of another ship. So he cannot be on
Probably.
Voyager-A.
No,
Yeah,
that's true. That's
That's
true.
why
He
it's Harry
probably
Kim.
Immediately got permission.
He's not a captain yet.
I thought about Tuvok because I thought Tuvok and Majel could be like such a great scene.
Right.
But I was
yeah.
like, I don't think he can be here because Picard told us he was somewhere else. So that's why I was like, does it have to make sense?
No, it doesn't have to make no. Things never have to make sense.
I'd go with Riker because we didn't have an appearance from Jonathan Frakes in Discovery, and we need to have Jonathan Frakes appear in every Star Trek.
Riker is in everything, right?
We haven't watched 11 through 20 yet, so Giraffe may know something we don't. But
Just delivering trombones to every captain.
Yeah, delivering trombone.
I won't speak. I didn't say anything for 3 months.
I know you did so well.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't
Right?
know how. Like, man.
It was hard. Thanks for the French Discord where I just went and like talked about everything I wanted to speak, you know?
This is all
but
the
yeah.
spy training we think you've had.
Yeah, this
Exactly.
is your Tal Shiar training coming in really well.
Absolutely. Like a tomb.
So for me, just to go along with like the kid theme of the show, I really would have liked to see either a cadet or young ensign Naomi Wildman, just to like interact with them. Like she could be Janeway's yeoman or something like that. I thought would have been really cool. I don't know. Could have worked in science with Rock because we know Naomi was like really into the sciences. Like so many different ways that they could maybe. Hey, who knows? Who knows? But I would have liked to see Naomi Wildman. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Any others? Any answer B's that you may have had, or just want to go into talking about the episode?
Well, I'm trying very hard to be like finding something they're actually not gonna do.
So don't mention how the Cisco's coming back.
Oh.
The running gag. Oh my god.
What was Paris's name when he's not Paris?
Nick Locarno.
Nick Locarno.
Locarno.
Oh, man.
What? I don't see it.
No, I don't either, but that would have been random.
No, they don't.
Oh,
look
wait,
anything
he's in
Lower Decks.
Never
We
mind.
already know what
Yeah.
happened.
I forgot
to
about him.
Yeah,
Got Genesis deviced.
he did.
Got
He did.
Genesis device.
So he's ensign again. There you go. Or,
Amazing. Alrighty, folks, let's get into our review of these first 2 episodes of Star Trek Prodigy Season 2, which is titled Into the Breach. Our order, we are in a new season of a show, so we are at our reset. We'll go Eric, Hawk, Giraffe, MC, followed by myself, and we'll go right into some happenings at Starfleet Academy. So the gang, they're all in their specific field of work at the Academy. Rock is thriving in the science department. Murph is being hysterical as always in holo tactical training because, you know, Murph. Jenkem is maybe putting on an act, but also I think mostly kind of digging Starfleet engineering. I think he wants to be able to let loose a little bit more, but I think he's learning stuff. Zero is dreaming about being a real person, which, you know,
A real boy.
Yeah, real boy.
Oh.
And Doll.
No, a real person. It's
Real person,
It's gender
because-
I
yeah,
know,
true,
but it was a
gender-
Pinocchio
It was a good.
reference.
It, wa- it
Sorry.
is a
I know,
Pinocchio
but-
reference. And Doll is being Doll and skipping class. What did you guys think about how we find the kids at the beginning of the season?
I loved seeing Murph at the beginning just kicking butt. I was like, which word can I use? But in the hologram training, that was really cool. You could totally see them going towards the security detail. Rock figuring out how to get Tribbles to not replicate was so cute, and how much she was so excited to get that call from Janeway was so nice to see. Like, they were all excited, but Rock was the one where it's like, oh, that's adorable. She just started talking faster and faster. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I figured out how to not let Tribbles replicate. Hey, bye. Who's next? Jenkum. I don't think it's an act. I think he saw how respected engineers were and how well put together they were and how calm and cool they were. And he was like, I want to be like that. And I give him props for trying. Like, that's awesome.
Famously calm Starfleet engineers, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, mostly. At least maybe at Starfleet Academy. Then Zero, it's adorable. Listening to the thoughts of the people across the way and just being like, I wanna feel people. Like, that's obviously not going to come to play later. And then Dal and his BS. Like, I know me and Julian talked about this at the end of Prodigy season 1. We're like, oh, look, he grew as a person. He's not
He grew
being
a lot.
and he's not being a D head. Like, and just like he had grown so much, like he was respected by his crew, and like he did the right thing. And now he's sitting there, head in the clouds, just playing like, I don't want to study. And I was like, oh, you regress. That sucks. Yeah. That's it.
Hawk.
No, it was great seeing all of them thriving in their different aspects. And you kind of got the sense that each one, once they entered Starfleet and that, would find that niche and that, especially Rock, Murph and security training and that. But Doll was always kind of that special case. And, Giraffe, I'm sure like tons of kids like him and that, who were basically heads in the cloud and that, and like that kind of typical classroom learning isn't really suited to their personalities. And I kind of expected that for him going into Starfleet. And lo and behold, this is actually true. He's more of a kind of a tactile person than that. He needs experiences outside. He's just not the book person, not the book learning type.
Yeah. Giraffe.
I'm really like thinking hard because I don't want to spoil things. See, that's why I don't watch usually things in advance. I like the uniforms a lot because I think the cadets usually get the bad end of the stick.
They do. They really do.
Uniforms.
Yeah.
And I like these uniforms. I think they're cute. I think they're really reminiscent of the uniform we've seen in season 1 from Starfleet, like the Protostar uniform with these angles and so on. I like the color, a bit dull, but we still recognize the red that we saw for the cadet and also that gray. So I really like this. I think it's really interesting to see them going their full potential and being very nerdy. They really want to learn for Rock and for Jenkum. For Zero, yeah, I think their character arc is a bit like the Chekhov's guns right now. It's just like, okay, Zero wants to feel. I was discussing, it's maybe one of the arc. I don't know what to think about the whole Zero arc, so we'll see that. I think Zero has so much potential, and seeing them just looking at people in love and yawning and yearning, and I don't know, that's weird. It's the same comment I had for the end of season 1. I'm not really into love stories or for the kids. So I don't know. I know Zero has so much more to offer than that, so you'll see for the next episodes. And Dal, growing is not linear. And I like the fact, and I don't like that Dal is being Dal, but I like the fact that they are not perfect. I do like this because we always see, the Starfleet officers being perfect, and sacrificing themselves. I mean, Zero sacrificed themselves like with the Borg, like and over and over again, and and Gwyn does the same thing. It's kind of. I like that Dal is messed up. I like that Dal is not perfect. I think it's cute. I think it's important because, again, all kids are not perfect students, and Dal has aspiration and Dal has ambition, and I think it's nice. So, I don't know. Is he too messed up for the season? Maybe. But I think it's important to show different characters. So I think that's nice.
Nice.
I love seeing all of the kids, for the most part, being really good at what they do because they, are very good at what they do and have been, basically officers before this point. So of course they're going to, when they're actually learning about it, they've had already this hands-on experience. So it's really nice to see them thriving in an academic environment. Zero, this is going to be an ongoing plot for them. I like it. It felt very Disney I Want song almost. But Zero is one of my favorite characters, so I really like that they're getting a plot. It looks like. But Dal. I have so much to say about Dal. And I'm going to start with Dal is emblematic of why I hate command track cadets. Because I do not like, and I mean, like, no shade on Mariner. Boimler actually does fall into this a little bit, but I have a problem with anybody who the only thing they want to do in Starfleet is be a captain. Like, because so many of like the big captains that we've had were on different tracks before they became captain. Like Janeway was science track and she just, became so good at her job that they made her captain. Sisko was an engineer, became captain. And this has happened to a lot of the captains. Michael, science. I believe Picard was also science. Or at least like in the alternate reality, we saw that he had a science bent. And I think that
is the one who went for command. I feel no.
Kirk was just like fast tracked. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we don't even really know about Prime Kirk that much about what his. So yeah, like it does seem like it's most of like the really excellent captains. Captaining wasn't like the first thing on their minds. They were just really good at what they did and got to the point of becoming captain. And having somebody with the mentality of the only thing I want to do in Starfleet is lead other people. I mean, especially the way Dal does it, where it's missing all of the nuance of being a captain, because being a captain is more than just sitting in that chair and giving the command to please go fast now. It's a diplomatic position, and it is one where it's really good that so many of the captains are pilots or engineers or scientists, because they often need to do all of that stuff. Like the captain has to be the jack of all trades. And when you are somebody like Dal, who seems to the only reason he wants to be captain is because he wants to be in charge. And when he's put into this position of, being able to actually learn and basically just blowing it off, it really angers me, because he has a chance, and I mean, I know all teenagers think they're special, but he thinks he's special. He's not any more special than any other cadet hopeful.
No, and like it's a sense of entitlement for him.
It really is a sense of entitlement. Yeah. It's funny because he is the main character, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone with worse main character syndrome in Star Trek than Dahl.
I think it's good that they have, because, it's still a show that caters also to kids. And I know many kids like Dahl.
Yeah.
And I've known kids like Dahl for decades. Shh. Silence. But it's a thing, especially boys, because they are pushed to, be the captain of your team, go do sports, go be good, and so on and so on. Excel. It changed a little bit, but there's still these like kids who, they want to be leaders. And I mean, even in school now, we rate their leadership skills and they're 10, It's a big thing in America to be a leader. It's very important. Like when they do their programs to like enter high school or to enter universities, college, they ask them about their leadership skills and how much they're a leader. And I think Dahl is an interesting character reflecting this obsession of leadership all the time, because he wants to be a leader, but how do you learn to be a leader? And I mean, books don't cut it, to be honest.
It's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, he has great hair. That's captain material right there.
That's true.
He's got a peak that rivals Pike's. So,
And
But
also
I think that's one of. Oh, sorry, you go ahead, Hawk.
to bring up a point, you mentioned about Picard and the blue and that, and Tapestry and that, and it wasn't his knowledge or his like specialization in a field in that got him noticed on the command track, and that it was that that willingness to jump into action, right? And for all that Dahl lacks in that is no compunction against jumping in and that when there is something
also a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems to me like maybe instead of people like studying specifically to be a captain, that captain should be a, workplace training kind of position.
Right. Like it shouldn't be something you study at the academy.
Yeah.
No, good points. Yeah, I really like the opening. Listen, like Rock is
In her element.
Yeah, totally in her element, and I just love also at like the end of like her speech about Tribbles too, the Starfleet officers in the background, like she just figured out, like they're just like their minds are blown. I don't know how much of the story they know about her. The fact that like she was trapped on Protostar for years in that time loop, and basically
she was a circus freak also for like most of her childhood.
Oh my God,
so the fact that like she like, and I'm going to talk about this in the next episode we record, but like I honestly think that Rock should already be an officer, but that's another story. Jankum, man, it's so funny, like going from really not liking a character and just like being all aboard the Jason Mantzoukas train now, and like not just these two episodes but the other episodes we've watched. Like I am on board the Jankum Pog train right now. I'm loving him in these episodes. I'm loving him in the future episodes. And it was cool just seeing him like, yeah, everything's good, I'm gonna be an engineer. I dug that. It's just kind of cute, like with Zero, like the whole Pinocchio of it all. I don't want to get too much into that because we'll be talking about that in later episodes. But I also kind of wish that we had saw Zero in one of these scenes doing something at the academy. That's a little bit unfortunate.
Medical.
Medical. And then Dahl, well, listen, I agree with you, Giraffe, that nobody's perfect, but the regression is just so bad in these first two episodes that I think it's like just me and Eric
bored.
I know he's bored. And you know what? Like if we're going into like a real life comparison, like Dahl is very much like my kid right now. Really smart, so she's really bored and she's struggling because of that. I get it, but it's just like Dahl did so much in that last half of the season to like become a captain, and then to all of a sudden just like I don't know. It's been rough. It's rough, and I don't know. I'm not on board the Dahl regression train. We'll see what happens later down the line. And I know. Just go ahead, Eric.
I mean, keep going.
No, the other thing I just want to say is like I hope it changes because Doll can, like, we've seen what Doll can be, and I want to see that Doll again. That's it. Let's move on to talking about the Lamar class science cruiser, the USS Voyager-A. I believe, if correct me if I'm wrong, named after Hedy Lamar.
Hedy Lamar, yes.
Which is pretty awesome. Who is a actor and World War II inventor, which is pretty sweet. So Janeway interrupts the crew at the Academy, invites them aboard Voyager, the Voyager-A, for a classified mission, and they're picked up by none other than Robert Picardo himself, the Doctor. The crew are briefed a little bit about the mission by the Doc. They get a tour of Voyager, and they also run into Nova Squad, which is headed up by our new favorite Vulcan character, Mijel. By the way, beautiful tribute. When they do run into Janeway, finally, she plays a little bit coy, like she doesn't really want to interact with them. And Voyager, I'm assuming this is her maiden voyage. I don't think that she's had a mission yet. I could be wrong about that. We can ask Aaron later down the line. What did we think about Nova Squadron playing a part in this? Janeway and her number one being kind of sus, and the brand new Voyager. Eric.
It's funny when they got picked up by the Doctor, I was sitting there, it's like, I know this scene really well, and I don't know why. And this was one of the only things that I'd seen
that we saw. Yeah,
yeah, like years ago or whenever it was released. I totally forgot that was a thing. It was nice. Robert Picardo is amazing, and I love that he's an addition to this cast and like a regular one too. So having him come back and being the hologram that they get to learn from this year, or at least this episode, or I don't know how long he's going to be in this season. I haven't watched it all. I love him. I love him so much, and he like fit right back into the role perfectly, just perfectly. I don't remember the last time he was on Star Trek. I assume it was a long time.
It was
ago.
Voyager.
Was it Voyager?
First Contact. I don't know if Voyager ended before First Contact or not. He has a cameo on First
No,
Contact.
Voyager was going well after First Contact.
Yeah.
First Contact. So okay, there you go.
Perfectly back into the whole thing. Then we get to see Voyager-A, and what a pretty ship. As someone who loves ships, yes, so good. And Nami did an amazing job doing the Voyager score without doing the Voyager score. And I was just sitting there, like, damn, yeah, I like that. Very, very Voyager-esque without using that Jerry Goldsmith. I assume she wasn't allowed to use it or whatnot.
It's so expensive.
The monies.
Yeah.
Going onto the ship, I thought the interior of the ship looks great. Like the animation this season has gone up so much, and it looks so good. Running into Nova Squadron was interesting. I thought they got disbanded after the whole.
I did too.
Incident?
I thought like Starfleet would kind of be like, maybe we shouldn't have like specialized groups anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a long time ago now, so maybe like people got over it.
And
Like what, like
Ricardo's
20
dead,
years
so they're
ago?
I think we could bring it back. Yeah.
and as we know, Starfleet doesn't learn from its past mistakes, so they kept going with it. They have a really nice pin that I want to 3D print, so that's what I noticed. I love Mijel. She's such a cool character. Even just this little intro, you're like, that's a badass that I want to know. Also, the actress who plays her was Amethyst in Steven Universe, so you gotta love some Steven Universe love there. What else did they say? I don't want to go too far. They run into Janeway, who's can't really bring him along. She's an admiral doing her thing. They're trying to get the ship going. Like I didn't think it was out of the blue, and the fact that they're like, oh, we're here. The five of us are here. We should be important enough that you should stop doing your thing so you could let the ship go. I thought that was funny that they're like, oh yeah, we're way more important. I did think that there was something going on, but also they have things to do.
Yep. Nice. Hawk.
Wow, that was quite a comprehensive summary of it. Yes, I was happy to see Robert Picardo back. I like the Doctor. I know some people find him annoying and that, especially their crewmates and that.
Who hurt you, people? He's amazing.
He is an amazing actor in that. Anybody ever watched the first season of Justified? He did a great cameo role in one episode in that. If you
He was in Justified?
Yeah. Yeah,
I've watched all of Justified, and I don't remember that. I'll have to go back and watch that episode.
Yeah, it's great. It's the end bit he does is fantastic. I won't say anything else if you watch it. Yes, I was very surprised to see Nova Squadron because I'm pretty sure Locarno and Wesley like ruined that for everybody, after their whole stunt. So very surprised. Yeah, but I guess that's a Starfleet thing on that. It's like no matter how much they go for like equality among its cadets and that, they still foster those groups that just compete, and try to be the number one, the best and that. So I'm sure history at some point will end up repeating itself on that one.
It was interesting that they were on the ship too. Aren't they like pilots, like a pilot squadron type thing?
Well, I mean, like there was a lot of cadets going out on this mission, wasn't there? Not just Dahl and the crew and that. I mean, Nova Squadron is basically cadets too, and that heading out on a mission with Admiral Janeway.
Well, to counterpoint, at the end of this episode, we know that there's a secret shuttle involved, right? Like at the end of the two-parter. So Nova Squadron being good pilots, they want someone who's, a crew that's going to be able to pilot this thing really well. Not out of the realm of possibility that they were brought on specifically to man that shuttle.
And they're expendable.
Just send the cadets because like the official pilots are too expensive.
Yes. No, it didn't make any sense.
If these blew up, it's fine. We didn't involve too much money into like taking into educating them. Send the kids.
But I did love like Janeway and that her the whole secret mission and that it really fostered that mischievous side of the kids and that's what we that's what the first season really kind of revolved around, and that was these kids and that who grew up as these basic slaves. They didn't talk to each other. They came together as a unit. It was that mischievous spirit that got them out of their predicament in the first place. And to come back into a new season where they just be straight-laced students, it wouldn't have worked as a series of, for the whole. So I think this was a good entry point into bringing back, that part of Dahl that got them to disobey orders and find out what the heck was going on, that he knew something was up. So give him credit for that.
He always thinks something is up.
Yeah,
to be fair, he's always right.
Yeah.
It is Starfleet.
Yeah.
The new Voyager, the animation is gorgeous. I love the new look of the Voyager. It hanging over the wormhole, those shots of it and that were just incredibly beautiful.
Yeah, agreed. Treff.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the ship because I think they covered it. I'm really glad that they gave a tribute to Heidi Lamar, which is an incredible person. If you don't know Heidi Lamar, just go check her out. Actress, but also she basically invented Wi-Fi, which is pretty dope. So I'm glad that, it's a Lamar class. I'm also happy that at least me, but I think all of us were right that the new ship was indeed a Voyager at the end of season 1.
We all collectively
agree. I don't remember where I guessed it, and some people were like, it can be Voyager. I'm like, I'm certain it's Voyager. And it was, yes, I was gonna swear, so I stopped. But yes, it is Voyager. So that is cool. The kids, to be honest, we see often like cadets serving on ships. We see Uhura doing it in Strange New Worlds. It's kind of like their, what do you call that?
Mission
like apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So it's cool that they get to be on Voyager. I think it's just after the Enterprise. It's mostly the second assignment that everybody wants to have, right? It's pretty cool to be on Voyager.
There's like 3 places that you want to get put, right? You want to get put on the Enterprise, you want to get put with Janeway, or you want to go like do a assignment on Deep Space Nine. Though maybe not, because that place is always like starting a war.
The Titan?
The Titan.
I think everybody wants to serve with Will Riker. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a science vessel. No exploration vessel. It's an exploration vessel, sure. With the big torpedoes.
We'll put those on after the fact.
Yeah, he did pimp my ride. Can I say that? Is it
Yeah, you can say that.
I don't
No,
know.
you can say that. We all watched that on MTV as kids. Come on.
Okay. So no, the Nova Squadron came a little bit out of the left field for me because I was like, I know it's not like, but it's too soon after Lower Decks. So I was like, the Nova Squadron again, like it's kind of like, okay, it's not like there's like 66 years of Star Trek that we're always going back to the same episodes, but fair, I did think they didn't exist anymore, but I'm like, why not Starfleet? Let's encourage like kids to do crazy stuff and blow themselves up in shuttles. Why not? Majel, incredible character design. Vulcans with new haircuts. We love to see
Frosted tips.
Let's go. I like that it's the first thing that Dal basically says to her. Cool hair. And Dal stumbling on things. Let's be honest. We all have a group of friends, and there's always a Dal in it. The person that doesn't want to learn, but at the same time, who always like is the start of good stories. So I don't know. I think Dal is being Dal, and I think it's fine, and he's gonna get his bottom beaten, and he's gonna learn. I don't know.
MC.
I love that the Doctor is the one to come get the kids, not only because I am a huge fan of the Doctor, but considering, and I mean, I think the Doctor basically says this, considering their attachment to Hollow Janeway, having a holographic person come to them is, I think, just something nice to comfort them. I mean, of course, the Doctor has never been very comforting, but, it's the thought that counts. I don't have any, it's surprising considering how many ships I've drawn, but I don't really have any opinions on the prettiness of Voyager-A. But I'm glad that it is Voyager. It makes sense. I am wondering if it is a rule that every time somebody who was on the original Voyager steps onto a ship, the immediate joke is, don't send us to the Delta Quadrant. And as for Nova Squadron, first of all, Majel, if I had a nickel for every time New Trek gave me a awesome female Vulcan character, I'd have 4 nickels, which isn't a lot, but I'm really glad that I have them.
Nice.
Yeah, I do love her hair. She reminds me of Pumira from Thundercats, and I'm here for that. But as for Nova Squadron, I was not shocked at all that Nova Squadron is still around, and the whole reason for that is because Red Squadron staged a coup on Earth, and they were still allowed to be around.
Yeah. Let me start with Voyager. This ship is so cool. It's like a third Sovereign class, it's like a third Intrepid class, and it's a third brand new Janeway definitely told Starfleet everything about what Admiral Janeway from the future did with like ablative hull plating. I was nerding out with Aaron over Messenger after I watched these, and I was like, so Aaron, Voyager-A has no windows. And I was like, is that because it's like a ablative hull plating? And he was like, yeah, pretty much Janeway was like, every vessel in Starfleet should have ablative hull plating now. And she was like, please put that all over my ship. So if you're wondering why it looks like the Protostar, it's because ablative hull plating. She's had enough of the Borg trying to destroy Voyager. So pretty cool ship. Love the nod to Heidi Lamar. The Doctor, I can't really say more than what Eric said. Like, Robert Picardo just is the Doctor, right? Like, he's so good. It's like, he's, this new version's like half the Doctor and a little bit of Richard Woolsey from Stargate Atlantis as well, which I think is kind of funny. Yeah, and then going on, like, Janeway is a busy person. She's an admiral. This is her brand new ship. They are cadets. They're not even cadets. They're warrant officers. They're technically not even in Starfleet Academy.
They're hopeful.
They're hopefuls. Like they're not they are not the most important people on the ship. As far as Nova Squad, I have so many issues with it existing between Nick Locarno, what MC said about Red Squadron, and the incident aboard the Valiant in Deep Space Nine. I believe it's the Valiant, right?
It's the Valiant.
Valiant, not Valiant. Thank you, MC. The Valiant. Like, really, Starfleet? Really? We're doing these groups? Like, come on.
Clicks.
Too many.
Starfleet likes its clicks.
Too many incidents. Anyway, yeah. Let's move on to Dahl again. Still on his BS, but does uncover a big secret. So as the doctor gives the kids their assignments, everyone seems, relatively happy. Jankum loves the new quantum slipstream warp core because who doesn't? Another little fun fact, I can say this now. If you're wondering why the warp core looks like it's encased in something, the slipstream is like that whole thing is for cooling, because I believe one of the reasons, I know there's like a phase variance that it stopped working in Voyager was, I think it also overheated. So it's like a cooling system. Aaron told me that too. Nice little fun fact. Yeah. So Zero is stoked to be in medical, witnesses a Boolean birth, which is pretty awesome. Rock is freaking out over cetacean ops. I will give a spoiler alert since the whole season is available to everyone right now. In 3, 2, 1, it is freaking amazing that whale is named Jillian from the voyage home. Come on, we don't find that out until a couple episodes later, but that's freaking awesome. Nice nod there. And then where am I? Murph, more hollow tactical training. He gets some swords on what looks like Rigel 7. And Dahl is given books, which, not much of an incentive again to like have him really, go be gung-ho about his Starfleet training.
Well, do you know who was described as a stack of books with legs? Captain James T. Kirk.
Exactly.
Yeah, good point. And then, he doesn't want to read up on temporal mechanics, even though that's what this entire mission is about. But Dahl being back on his BS does help uncover the big secret. Janeway is hiding this experimental shuttle to go rescue Chakotay. This is a lot, but we're going to talk about it all in one because there's also a lot more to talk about. But Jellicoe scraps the mission, but Janeway's like, screw it. I'm going to go through with it anyway. What do we think about the kids getting their assignments from the doctor and Janeway's secret Infinity shuttle? Yeah, go off, Eric.
I thought all the assignments they got made sense. It looked really cool for each of them, except for Dal. It made no sense that they're going to be like, you're going to do command training. Here's some books. Why didn't they do some sort of shadowing thing? I thought it would have been some sort of program. Like he could have followed any of the officers to do some of that training. That just seemed like a way for him to be like, yeah, I'm not doing this. It makes no sense in my brain that he was just sent a bunch of books. Like, do some shadowing, learn from the books afterwards, that type of thing. So obviously he would go around and try and figure out stuff. I love. Wait, is this? Are we talking about how the doctor can't lie? That was at this point, right?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I love that Zero's like, the doctor's a bad liar. There's a third holodeck. Dal, you're right. Not holodeck.
Oh yeah.
Shuttle Bay.
Actually,
Bad actor.
Bad actor.
Yeah. So that was cool. Jellicoe scrapping the mission. Janeway. Of course, Janeway's gonna go forward. Who didn't think that was gonna happen? I don't know. I like
7 years in the Delta Quadrant, not having to answer to anybody. Like,
I like the idea of that they have a illegally cloaking ship. I thought that was really cool. I like that the ship looked like garbage and it doesn't look like anything. I love that it looks like a box with a couple things on top of it. That's awesome. I love that it looks like an actual transport. Like, when you see the Millennium Falcon first and for the first time, like all the people in Star Wars, they're like, oh, that's a hunk of junk. Whereas everyone's like, oh, that's amazing. This one actually looks like a hunk of junk. That's awesome. And I love it. And I love that the kids were all going through the Jeffries tubes. Jeffries tubes only lead to trouble or something, whatever Rock said. I thought that was really cute.
great line.
But yeah, I thought I loved the idea of an ugly invisible ship that's actually awesome. That's cool.
Nice. Hawk.
I love that we got to actually see cetacean ops.
How did I not
ship.
talk about the whales? Oh my god.
I know. Oh, it was great. Yeah, the assignments all were perfect except for Dahl. That was basically like a babysitting kind of maneuver. It's like, now you stay in here and start reading. I don't know why they thought that he would actually stay. I mean, at this point, haven't they kind of developed personality profiles on these kids? Starfleet, like does psychological testing, everything. They have a personality test on
Does
him.
that psychological training ever actually work, though?
I don't know. But I mean, they got to know, putting him in that room with all those books, that was going to drive him crazy and probably, bring out that mischievous side, which it did. I found it really odd about the shuttle. I mean, the ship and that had cloaking technology. Janeway was good with it. I mean, given the nature of the mission and everything, it made sense. But like, that is a big no-no to break. The Treaty of Alderaan is still in effect at this point. So,
I have a question.
yes.
Is the Treaty of Alderaan still in effect at this point?
I was going to say it's post-Dominion War, so I don't think so.
It's post-Dominion War, and in Star Trek Insurrection, the transport ship where they are going to take everybody off of the immortal planet also had a cloaking device.
Which was also illegal for them.
Was it?
In Insurrection, I think it is, but I don't think in Prodigy, because post-Dominion War, since the Defiant, I think
Well,
they
the
had...
Romulans,
I thought those were
Romulans loaned the cloak to the Defiant.
Yeah,
Right.
that was a special circumstance, right?
But here's what I'm thinking. We hear a reference to the Romulan refugee crisis. Janeway is talking about it in this episode. I wonder the minute that the Starfleet finds out, they're like, by the way, if we're going to help you, the Treaty of Alderaan's out the window.
Well, the thing is that, is the Empire still standing? Like, I mean,
Right.
the
Also,
other party
yeah,
signing
right.
the treaty is not existing anymore.
Right.
The treaty's
Okay.
up.
Yeah,
That's
they got other
excellent.
problems to deal
They
with.
got other problems. Yeah. Sorry, Hawk. Continue.
Okay, no worries. I think that kind of clears up my question. Yes, Jellicoe is being Jellicoe. Yeah. He gets mad respect on that. It says, in hindsight, but like now he's just, just being a crusty old man, scrapping the mission. And, God bless Janeway, she just goes for it anyways. She does know best. She's been through all this. So, yeah, I'm good.
Cool. Draft.
This thing of hiding a ship cloaked in a place that is supposed to not exist is such a big plot device that I was kind of mad at it. Like, just put a ship with no cloaking in a normal warehouse and act like it's boring. And you know what the kids are not going to do? They're not going to go look at it because it's just a pile of junk. For real. Like, the whole secret thing is what attracted them. So it's the crown in a hat box, just make it look boring and nobody's going to go for it. Like, Voyager is secure.
To be fair, this is what they were actually doing. It was the Doctor who screwed up in that and mentioned Shuttle Bay 3. And he's like,
Yeah. Always talking to
Yeah, but also, like, why do they have a bunch of cadets in a ship that's going for a super secret time mission? Like, I know we need a plot, but it's like the same thing with Dahl in the books. I'm like, we know it's important that he knows regulation to be a captain, but also this is 101 education. Like, you need to tell them why they're doing the thing. And especially Dahl, he's going to not do that. He's going to be bored. He's like too good for that, So I don't know. It's weird that they don't have mentors. It's weird that they don't have anybody like looking after them, because even Mariner, when she was put to like shadow ransom, that was basically cadet training she was going through, you know? So I don't know. It's kind of like, I know it's exposition and, they're trying to like put the plot into action, but Yeah, I was just waiting for it to go. I love Saturation Ops. I think it was great to see whales. In lower deck, what is it? Dolphins? No, beluga. What do they have?
Beluga.
The beluga whales.
Belugas. Yeah, belugas. Yeah. So it's fun to see an actual whale. And, that ship is clearly bigger in the inside than it is in the outside, but I see nobody complaining about it this time.
You thought that too, right? I definitely thought about that.
So yeah, and I didn't talk about the doctor, but I was I was glad to see the doctor, and I was glad that Picardo didn't have to go the data treatment in Picard. But we saw that in Vegas, and it did spoil the fun a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, like this first episode, I'm just waiting for it to
Yeah. I was the
start.
same. Yeah. MC.
Okay, so again, this all of the kids getting their assignments very much kind of just building up off the first scene, and I like it. Seeing a cetacean ops, I love how modern Star Trek is just running with cetacean ops. It's because it's just so much fun. That's something that I think was just put on like the blueprints for
the Enterprise D.
Yeah, it's just a thing written on the shot somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody now is just like, we're showing it.
Yep.
And beautiful whales. You guys like ships? I like whales.
I like whales.
I'm gonna keep on Doll because apparently that's the thing that's going to be bothering me for
Eric and
the
I
next
did it
little
for
while.
20 episodes, 2.5 years ago. So, it's your turn.
Well, do you know what captains have to do a lot of? Read stuff. Again, this is like the whole, I have a problem with, command track students because it's the whole idea of people thinking that being a captain is basically just being the parody version of Jim Kirk instead of the actual version of Jim Kirk or Picard, where it's, you do get to do all of that, stuff where it's like, sitting in the chair and being really cool. But there's a lot of other hard stuff. It's kind of like how, presidents always, age like a million times faster than a normal person because their job's really hard. Being a captain is hard. So you're going to have to read stuff like all of this temporal mechanics stuff because you're on a mission about time travel. You need to know what's actually going on, doll. And it's... Yeah, so it just really bothers me that, he can't even like do the very, I don't even think that, there's a lot of reading there, but it's probably not backbreaking reading. It's like it's temporal mechanics 101. They say that it's temporal mechanics 101.
Repeatedly.
Listen, if we again, for those who haven't binged it all day today, when this releases, we'll do a little 3, 2, 1 spoiler. Like, we see a couple episodes later, like, what temporal mechanics 101 is. Like, it's pretty awesome what it is too. Like, I'd watch all of those videos. So, like, yeah, kind of not cool on Doll's part. I agree. Sorry, continue.
And Janeway hiding this experimental that is the most Janeway thing that can happen, and I love it. I think I actually loved Janeway on Prodigy more than I did on Voyager, and I liked her on Voyager a lot. I like this Janeway. She's an admiral at this point, so Jellicoe can say what he wants, but Janeway's still an admiral, and so this whole secret mission, there's just it feels like, considering how much was put into the secret mission, It seems like they gave up on it very quickly. But that might just be Jellicoe.
Yeah. Yeah. I I really want what Giraffe said. Like, I really just wanted this episode to go, and it didn't. And I wanted to start. And one of the things that bothered me the most about this episode was the secret mission exposition when they all walk into the room and they decloak the shuttle and Janeway does her speech about the secret mission. And it's like, I know it's a kid's show, but there's also Trekkies and adults watching, and kids are smart. They don't need this exposition. They really don't. And kids have short track minds these days. I don't know how much it helps. So that really bugged me. I'd like to watch a whole series about rock and whales. Thank you very much. What else is on here? Doll. I'm not going to talk about Doll anymore because MC hit it on the head. Yeah, I just wanted it to go, and it didn't. And the exposition at the end really killed my like vibe and mood for the first episode. So, but we're now going into the second episode, and yeah. So Gwyn has a bit of a rude homecoming, right? Having had an awkward conversation with Doll in the previous episode, Gwyn arrives at Solum and speaks before the council and speaks for the Federation and how, like, you know, they do want peace and, you know, that there's this bigger world out there. But she's thwarted, which I think we probably all saw coming, by Essentia, who had already alerted Solum about the Federation. So Gwyn is forced to flee and is chased by Essentia through the streets of Solum. And her shuttle, dude, they just do straight up shuttle murder. Like, the officers
Type in the chats for the people on the shuttle.
Yeah, right? Like, pour one out. Yeah, shuttle's destroyed. Thoughts on Gwyn's kind of shock to the system and her arrival on Solum, Eric?
I love this. This is the part of the first two episodes that I was really jazzed about.
Same.
Like, this is everything I wanted to see, or at least this was the most interesting part for me. I love that she's like it would be like me going back to the Philippines and not knowing anything. Like, that's what I felt like. It felt like she was in someone who felt like she should belong there but doesn't know her place. Like, that's how I would feel going back to the Philippines, or ever going to the Philippines. I've never gone. So it was nice seeing her in this unknown place but still wanting to belong, and then seeing Essentia, like, her trying to relate, to find common ground with these people, and then Essentia is there to just be, I almost swore, to just screw things over for her. I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought the chase scene was really dynamic and fun. That that ship in orbit, that just blew up. It reminded me of the Republic ship at the beginning of the Phantom Menace. That was just like, oh yeah, let's put up our shields. Oh no, we're dead.
That poor shuttle pilot.
I know.
Did nothing wrong.
And we got to talk to her for like a short period of time. So you're like, oh, she's nice. Oh, she did.
Wasn't she a Trill?
She was a Trill. Yep.
Yeah. So I love the sequence, and I want to see more.
Same. Hawk.
Yeah, I really loved 2, probably more so than episode 1. 2 was great. Seeing Gwen on that shuttle and that preparing for first contact with the people she was of but had never seen, or actually a planet she had never visited. I get that. I love how nervous she was about it, but willing to do it. It's a weird role reversal, right? Because the diviner in the last season, was supposed to be the avenger of his people. Now she's supposed to be their savior. Very weird position. The fact that Essentia was there and had basically just poisoned the waters for her, and then as she landed. By the way, I love the Vonnegut, like the headpieces and that.
Anything having to do with the Vonnegut in these episodes is just freaking gorgeous.
Do you want to guess how many screenshots I have of this?
A lot. I bet a ton.
I also have a lot of the screenshots, and I have definitely been modeling things.
Nice.
The chase through the street was great, but by God, like the shuttlecraft being destroyed,
that was just dark for a kid's show.
That was so dark. There were people on there. I really love the way this episode began.
Nice. Draft.
So yeah, I was really excited about seeing Solum, but then it's like Starfleet just like threw people in this with no preparation whatsoever. Like they were like, let's just send the kid, no probe, no monitoring of their communication, no nothing.
No security team.
No security team. Like they could have been in orbit, cloaked, like just like trying to get to know, what was going on before sending a kid there. No, they just go in like that. And sure enough, Asensia is there, which I will say, I think Asensia is the character I'm the most excited about in that show because Asensia has real motivation, is smart, and we know what she wants, and we know she's ready to do whatever she can to get what she wants. And she also convinced she's right, which I love characters like this. She is a very interesting character. Jamil is absolutely incredible.
I forgot to say, but like the look of the younger Essentia that looks so scared to see her older self, and like, I that relationship I want to see. Yes.
Yeah, it's most probably I've watched the whole thing, and Asensia is the character I was the most invested in. I was the most interested in. I wanted more. The moment she showed up, I was like, okay, we're getting into the story. Let's go. I love the aesthetic of Solum. It's absolutely gorgeous. They spend like a lot of time in exposition, like explaining like all the thing with the shuttle. I would have liked to know more about Solum than like, this is the Council of Elder. There's two of them also. Okay, like what are we doing? Like,
they could have put like 2 minutes into the first episode on this or something. Yeah.
Yeah, just looking around the city. What's the name of the city? Where are we? Are we in the northern hemisphere again? Like, like,
do they have bridges?
Do they have bridges? Like, it's just, I think Solum is the most exciting thing in these two first episodes, and I thought like it went very fast. It went as fast as I wanted the other part of the episode to go. Does that make sense?
Yep. No, it does.
Yeah. And yeah, that's an interesting plot. That's something I saw. I was invested in. What else are we talking about? Sorry,
you're good.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep. MC.
I like Giraffe. I really like the look of everybody, the headpieces, everything. This plot, I'm interested in that, but I'm a bit confused because, like, in the first season, and it feels like almost like everything that Gwen is doing is just making a self-fulfilling prophecy, where it's like Solomon had like this civil war because they had like some people wanted first contact, some people didn't. That's exactly what's happening now. Gwen has come to make first contact, and then you have Essentia, who was just like, no, this is bad. And like, then basically the only difference is that the diviner is on a different side in this version, which is interesting. But I the whole plan with sending Gwen down by herself, it doesn't seem like it was very well thought out by Starfleet.
They needed a Spock.
Yeah. I think he's a little busy now in the Kelvinverse. That's my one.
Bit. Yeah. Oh, there it is.
But there's got to be someone else. Like this is somebody who I know, like I've been saying that the kids have had a lot of good hands-on training. And yes, Gwen is a part of the species, but she's not a trained diplomat. And you could have sent her down with somebody else, somebody who's, like actually kind of knows what they're doing. There's people who all they do is first contact. Like they are trained to do nothing but first. Please don't Please tell me I'm not making this up. I seem to recall that
No, like
at least one episode.
There are
there was,
like no, but I mean, the fact is that most of like the Starfleet 5-year missions are for like those are for that their main purpose is first contact. And then, like we learn in Lower Decks, you have the support vessels, which are like, hey, we met you like 100 years ago. How you guys doing? So yeah, no, you're not far off at all.
yeah, I mean, like I know Picard's busy, but what's Riker doing? Like do you know how many first contacts Riker has made?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a dirty joke in there.
No, I think that was the joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man.
Did you give it?
Oh, Hawk, I love you. I love this. Like, I love this, and I love it even more in the next episode, which we're not talking about today, unfortunately, because I would have loved to. But I love this so much, and I love it because every single what we haven't talked about yet is, even though Essentia is the quote unquote bad guy, everything Essentia says in that room is right. Like, Essentia is right. She is trying to protect her people. She's trying to make sure that her civilization isn't destroyed. Like, if I'm the Solum Council, right, the Volnicott Council, and this absolute stranger comes in and does all this, and you have someone who has shown proof that they do belong here, it's just like, yeah, why would you ever listen to this person? And I hate to talk about like, well, who's a real Volnicott? Because listen, at the end of the day, Gwyn is real, whether she was genetically engineered or not. But one of the things that we know about their civilization is that I think they were against cloning. And like, you know, Dreadnought in season 1 mentions, you know, well, this is an abomination, but we, you know, the reasoning for like why you're doing it makes sense. So like, we'll, you know, live on. But at the end of the day, she's an outsider. To them, she's an abomination. And you have someone in that room who does have Solom's best interests at heart. So it's actually really hard to side with Gwyn in this situation. And I thought that was really good storytelling for the beginning of this episode. I thought this was rock solid, except for the poor shuttle pilot. Like, justice for that shuttle pilot. Seriously. Just dark. So yeah, we talked about like Gwyn having to like run that whole chase sequence again, like beautiful. Is running through the streets. She finds refuge in her father's astronomy lab, and the two end up having what's like a really beautiful reunion. Obviously a much younger diviner, and I believe they say his name in the episode, but I don't have it written down anywhere.
Elthrael, I think something like that.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. What do we think about this moment where he realizes that Gwyn is his daughter, and the reunion and decision then to challenge Essentia in the Valura? Eric.
Yes. I was a cool reunion. I like that. I like that we got to see the younger diviner and how soft spoken he was, and how sort of like meek he was. It was very cool, and the relics that they joined together. I thought that was such a cool sequence in how they believe each other and how they're part of each other's family. The idea of him using something so old and what's the word? Revered, I guess, as a ritual was so smart of him to do, especially since he knows that these people are very traditional. So doing something that is this precious to them is great. It also reminded me of like all those other rituals when they talk about like the like any alien species they have on Star Trek. They're like, oh yeah, they.
I love this part of the episode. It's the contrast between the first season and this, him meeting her now, and being who he was before the Civil War, before the destruction of the planet, before he became the diviner, before he had to basically like extend his own life and then genetically create her and raise her up as like as a soldier in this divine mission of his. He's just a sweet guy. He's an observer. That's his job, right? He just observes the stars. Um, he he's the kind of father that she needed to have, like when, at the very beginning, uh, it's just something like, it's like John Noble is great. He can be like the most evil sounding character in the world, and he can also be just, the sweetest old man going. I'm glad they brought up this side of him, and I'm glad they brought him back for this season, just to, for this role. Um, yeah, the ritual was a little kind of okay. Yeah, yeah, we've seen this quite a bit in Star Trek. It's like I think we see it. We had something like that in the last
The
season.
birthday silo, the party silo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but but it was visually kind of very cool on this. Later on, seeing the challenge go down between Essentia and Gwen. But no, I really love that moment where it's like there was actual affection between the two of them. Even though she couldn't tell him, it's those parts that she couldn't tell him what, when he asked, "What was I, a monster?"
Depends on who you talk to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The actual ritual looked like, when Batman's trying to get out of that hole in.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking of that whole time. I was like, that's great. That's great.
Can't wait to talk about that next week.
I was born on the dark.
Giraffe.
Yeah. Okay, it's one of my pet peeves, but like, the kids yet again forgiving their abusive parents. I know it's past him, but she went through a lot. And remember when he left her to die
Hmm.
several times? And she's just like, Daddy. I'm like, okay, like there's no apprehension. There's no, is that guy okay? Has he been like this like forever? Is he just like that because of circumstances? She just like so happy-go-lucky and no trauma, no nothing. Beautiful Star Trek. No, it's true. Like when I saw her interaction, and when I saw him, I was like, ugh, no, not that guy. You're not gonna leave her alone with that dude. No, but everybody's happy and everybody's like fine, and everything is forgiven and everything is forgiven is perfect, which I hated. I thought it was not great, especially I rewatched season 1 like very recently, and I was just like, I don't know, it sounded wrong, like, I mean, at one point she's like, yeah, depends who you ask and so on, but I don't know that it was enough. I know they need to move the plot very fast, so why not? But yeah, and the ritual. Aren't we lucky that every single culture they find have this ancestral ritual that everybody has to abide to? Imagine like you come to Earth and like they're like, yes, there's an ancestral ritual. If you do it, everybody will listen to you and
It's
you will
called
be
the
part of
Coney
the
Island
culture.
hot dog eating contest.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yet again, they have a council of elders. Like, it's kind of like these ready to go made up society that Star Trek loves to have, like they have these unbreakable rules, and there's always like that entity at the top that will tell you if you can be part of anything. Yes, Moogie. Like, it's just,
Yes.
it's ready to go civilization IKEA made together, it's just like, let's throw it, council of elder, the ritual, we're gonna make a name with a lot of apostrophes, and then
There's a lot of apostrophes.
right, and and then it's gonna be like the hero's journey, and they're gonna pass that test or they're not gonna pass that test. I like the aesthetic of Solum, but the rest was kind of like, I spent 2 episodes being like, when is the story starting? When are we doing something new? Because when you compare to the first episode of season 1, it was something I had never seen, to be honest. Like, there was a lot of like concept that was new to Star Trek, and I really liked it. And like, Solum is a bit disappointing to me in his culture. Not in his setting, but its culture. It's yet again a strange new world, having yet again the same system, and yet again the same ritual, and yet again all the apostrophes. And yeah.
Fair. Yeah. MC.
Totally get everything that Giraffe was just saying. Just outside of him being her abusive father, I think it's bold for Gwen to go to the diviner, because did she have any idea that the diviner wasn't like he was?
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I mean, because I mean, even like if I were Gwen, I would have thought that he would have turned me in, because that's the diviner that we saw throughout season 1. I mean, I like that we get to see see a different version of the diviner, because I like the performance, and I think it creates an interesting story, but it felt a little forced, because from everything that I know of Gwen from season 1, it doesn't feel to me like that would be something that Gwen would have done.
Fair. I am maybe the only one who liked this. I liked it. I liked the reunion.
I liked it.
Okay,
I liked
so
it
fair.
too.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yes, you guys. I liked the reunion. I thought, I don't know. You get the ending where he kind of, you can never fully redeem yourself for all of your past actions, but I think it's enough where she's just been through an ordeal, right? Like, she literally jumped out a window, and to be fair, I don't even think she knew what was out that window. She was just kind of running for dear life, and it's kind of your like last best resort. And I don't know if it's in the video game or if I'm making something up from season 1. Maybe I'm just making crap up, but like, I feel like there's somewhere where we find out that the diviner wasn't always the way that he was. That I think we knew from season 1 that he was just like,
There's like a moment
right?
where like we know, but I don't know she knows.
Right. So, but I like that we find out with her, or that she finds out, and we get the realization that like this dude was just an astronomer. I don't even think he was that, like, he's one of like an outsider. He believed that there was outside life, but he wasn't very well respected. Like, he was just this ordinary guy, and he becomes a diviner because the Volnicott kind of like weaponize their citizens to make sure that their civil war doesn't come to pass. So I really liked the reunion. I do agree about, even though we'll talk about it when we do our review of episode 3 next week, but I liked the ritual, though again the apostrophes are excessive.
So many apostrophes.
Yeah, so many apostrophes. I do like the dreadnought, like she gets shocked by him, but it's like they were like butlers, right? Like they were just like I thought
Librarians.
Yeah, they were librarians.
Yeah. I think the ritual is cool. I just think it's not very.
No, it's not original.
It's not very original.
No,
It's yet again the same stuff.
I agree. But no, I really like the reunion, and I like how John Noble kind of sounded a little bit like Walter from Fringe. He had that much.
I know.
Oh, 1,000%.
Right.
That's why I don't trust the guy. Let's be honest.
Right.
He's gonna start ambering everyone. Man,
He's gonna start ambering everybody. Yep.
Stealing kids from other dimensions.
We have a couple more talking points here. Actually, we kind of talked about this earlier. We do not need to go into this in depth. I just kind of want a short answer from everybody. Dahl continues in this episode being on his BS. Much to the chagrin from Rock, who says that line about Jeffrey Tubes only leading to trouble. Janeway's put in between a rock and a hard place and spills the beans about the Infinity after Dahl sneaks onto the bridge, and they need to get the timing work exactly right to get Chakotay back without messing up the timeline. Should Janeway have filled them in right from the get-go? And we could be very short about this, Eric.
It would have been better for her, because I feel like if she didn't do anything, they would have just kept going and going and going until they figured out something. Or Dow would have just stumbled upon it. He just would go through every single door trying to find something that's, going on with this ship.
Yeah. Hawk.
Same. Janeway definitely should have told, like, pretty much, like, if they were there and they were already in defiance of Jellicoe's orders and that, shouldn't she have let the whole crew know in that? Because this got started because she told some of the crew about it, and then they couldn't really, keep their mouths shut and that. So they had to go about this whole thing of trying to hide it from another part of the crew. And,
It's like the wrong way of compartmentalizing.
Yeah, it really is. And, like, for God's sake, Janeway, these are children we're dealing with here.
Yep. Draft.
Airlock them. No problem. The
The
Roslyn method.
Laura Roslin way of doing things. Love it.
No, I think she did it right because, they're just curious and they're going to keep poking. And also now they know the parameters, so they know, like, the importance of time. And we also know it by the same scene. So it's good. Yeah. It makes the story go forward. Yes.
Yeah.
Go fast.
Go fast.
Yeah, she should have told them, like, boom, like, just go. Like, I'm on a mission. Jellicoe doesn't like it. I'm gonna do it. Are you with me? They're a bunch of rogue kids. Of course they're gonna be with her.
Give them something to do. To be like, there's something very important you need to do for the ship to function. And you make them empty the holodecks.
It feels to me like these kids really need to go sit down with, like, Beckett Mariner to, like, find out how to, like, because I mean, how many times has stuff happened on lower decks where they're just like, the bridge officers are doing stuff, not our problem. They'll tell us when, they need to tell us. Because that's the thing, like, on Star Trek, how many times do the bridge crew do something? Do you think that they tell everybody on the ship what's going on? Absolutely not. They tell the people that they have to. And actually, a lot of this kind of reminds me of my favorite of the sequel trilogy movies, The Last Jedi. The whole thing with Admiral Holdo and Poe. The fact that, it's a need to know basis, and Poe is not on a need to know. It's the same thing with Dahl and all his crew. They don't need to know. And
I would only argue that they had a good reason to think that they were need to know because they literally got a personalized message from Janeway. So I don't know.
They're teenagers. So.
They're teenagers. Yeah.
I think she wants to keep them around because they're a link to the Protostar.
Right. Exactly.
Yes, exactly. I think that's it. And Janeway, has always adopted strays. So
yeah, true. So finally, Nova Squad, good Nova Squad. Majal hears the convo in the decks, and our new frosted tip Vulcan cadet finds out about Infinity, plans to find it and report it to Jellicoe because, Nova Squad. Dahl decides to stop her by moving the shuttle to another shuttle bay, talking about things being bigger. Like, really, 3 shuttle decks on this ship? Anyway, the whole team fight aboard the shuttle as Majel, I'm going to pronounce her name wrong every time. Majel tries to apprehend them, and it launches into the singularity way too early with Dahl, Jankum, Majel, and Zero aboard. What do we think about the end of the episode and Janeway's plan basically already being put in jeopardy? Eric.
I mean, I don't blame Majel for trying to report them. Like, if you saw a bunch of screw ups, like trying to hide a secret, you'd want to set things right. And I don't blame her. Plus, she's awesome and I love her. Even from this little bit, I was just like, this I like this. The fact that they got on the ship and launched it was it felt so cartoony, but like I wasn't angry about it because of course Dow's gonna screw stuff up and launch the ship by accident. Like that's of course Dow's gonna do that. So it delighted me as a kid. When my kid watched this, she was like, yeah, of course that happened. And I was like, yeah, it did happen like that, of course. And it felt fun.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, Majel. Majel. I don't. Is it Majel? Majel.
They pronounce it
There's an
differently on the show,
apostrophe. It's
too.
gel.
Majel.
Majel. Okay. Yeah. Gets a lot cooler in the series, but at this point, I learned a new word when I was in Ireland. It's called tout. Right now, she's being a tout. Wanting to go and report this to Jellicoe and that. I don't know why Nova Squad's going to Nova Squad. So, but yes, this was a prime example of why this is a kid's show in that, because, nothing's going to go according to plan. There's going to be some sort of like hijinks and roughhousing that ends up launching a mission way too soon and, placing the entire thing in jeopardy comedically.
Yeah,
I loved it. It's we got to remember that they are trying to bring kids into this franchise. This is the way they do it.
Here, Giraffe.
I think the only infuriating part is just Dahl like boasting about it in the corridors when you're like, dude, they told you to not open your mouth. What are you doing? And then sure, like Michelle like racing to I really like that scene actually. Like her like being like more and more frustrated in the elevator. The turbo lift I think was so good. You see all these like little expression on her face and you see her hand like
he's pretty emotional for a Vulcan. Like she's young, but like I don't know.
We have no idea how old she is.
Yeah, maybe she's 65 like Talin. What do you know?
True.
No, but I like that. It's just like you see her bro like furrowing like more and more and more and more, and her hand like crazy, like so,
take the next one.
Take the next one. I was like, Queen, boss lady, let's go, mother. And then the fight in the Infinity. I just like the fact that it's Jenkum head being like pushed into the dashboard. I like people head being banged into like dashboards in Star Trek. I think we should do a super cut of everybody having their head like
I'll do it.
And our cars in
Don't
Star
tempt me with a
Trek.
good time, Giraffe.
Because I think Boimler does it. Definitely Kirk in Star Trek 09. And yeah, so I think it was silly. It was funny. I think we all knew that this mission was not going to go as planned. So, I was not surprised. And I was happy that it happened this way because it was really funny. I like the fact that Rock and Murph are left behind, right? Rock and Murph, right?
Yeah.
Because I think it's cool that they're split up because that will let us know what happens in two places at the same time. So I like that.
Yeah, same. MC.
Thank you. I had Michelle for 2 episodes, and if anything were to happen to her, I'd hurt everybody on this podcast and myself.
Oh,
I adore her. I have absolutely no problem with what she did here because she's following regulations. Like, this is weird what's going on here. I don't think like having like a third shuttle bay is a third secret shuttle bay is strange because I'm pretty sure the original Voyager had one too, and that's why they had so many shuttles that they were able to blow up.
Well done.
And the whole launching too early, I mean, of course it's going to happen. Of course. I'm just so puzzled as to why this ship is easier to start up than my car.
So, loved everything about this. Loved it. I loved Majel. I loved the fight. And then Jenkum hits his head on the control panel. Okay. Kid show or not kid show? There's got to be a sequence of events to start a freaking time machine shuttle, like, or a shuttle that's going through a wormhole. Like,
have you ever watched Star Trek in your life?
Yes, many times, Giraffe. And every time something like this happens, it drives me crazy. These are like, I know that cars these days just have a button you could press, and my 8-year-old could do it. Mm-hmm. But it also doesn't have quantum torpedoes. It doesn't have, like a warp drive and a quantum slipstream drive.
Well, it can definitely kill people, though.
But it can't change the timeline, Giraffe.
Can't change the timeline.
What do you
like,
think?
it's
Edith
too much.
Keller got like killed by a car. It can
It was
definitely
also-
change the
It was
timeline.
also just like an exact redo of Murph finding how to fire phasers by like sitting his butt on the control panel. So I'm just like, really, guys, again, come on.
Made me laugh. Made me
No,
laugh.
it was good. Final thoughts on this episode, very quickly. We'll go in reverse order. MC.
I thought it was serviceable. That's basically the only, we got us to where we needed to be to start things out, but it was not anything to really write home about.
Draft.
Yeah, it was a good opening. It didn't get me as excited as I wanted it to make me, but the plot has finally started. We're into it, and it's okay. It's fine. It's a good season opening.
Yeah, fair. Hawk.
Same. Obviously like the original of the first season, the first 2 episodes were, introduced us to these characters in the extraordinary situation they were in. This is really refamiliarizing us with their new situation, being in Starfleet, or hopefully applying to Starfleet. But soon gets us back to where we were in that, as far as the dynamic of this group, which I think is mostly for silly and, always exciting. So a pretty decent opening.
Nice. Eric.
Serviceable as well, like everyone else said. It gets us where we need to go. We get to see new dynamics, and some things are split up, and I hope that the people that are getting these weekly get to these 2 episodes released on the first day, because if it was just one, I would be very, very upset.
They have the same title, right? So it's one episode, no?
It's part 1 and part 2.
Part
Yeah,
1 and
yeah.
2. Yeah, so I hope so.
I hope it's released together, because I'd be very angry if it was just the first one.
Yeah, as a duo, they work well together. I was a bit underwhelmed with the first one. The second one is fine. I was kind of just generally underwhelmed by the first 2. There's some stuff I really, really enjoyed, but yeah, I think everybody hit it on the head with serviceable. It was fine. We have 2 very quick mailbags. So we asked the collective on Discord where they think like the season is going to start, and we're gonna see how close they were. We only had a couple here, so let's see. We went in reverse order, so we'll just start back up at the front. Eric and Hawk can take these. Eric, you take Captain Meg's, please.
Captain Meg wrote, "I'm excited to see the kids back together on a ship. I think Dal's gonna feel a little fish out of the water at first, but have high ambitions. Janeway might not be the hands-on instructor that Hollow Janeway was, so they'd have to adjust to that."
And she's pretty dead
Pretty
on.
good.
Actually, yeah, that was a good call.
Yeah, good call. And Hawk, you take us home with Troubles, please.
Absolutely. Trouble wrote, "I'm excited to see the crew coming back together again. I'm expecting a lot of action from the trailer and Murph being cute. It will be interesting to see where the show picks up after a long break, and if the crew has any more training or skill development, or will they just pick up exactly where season 1 left off?"
Well, definitely with the skill and development, a lot of them did some cool things at Starfleet Academy. So pretty good stuff. That is going to do it for this one. We will be back this Thursday with our mid-season review. So that'll be episodes 1 through 10. So join us for the live premiere of that at our normal time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time over on YouTube. We will see you then. Eric, we'll be thinking of you, buddy. Have an amazing surgery. We hope it all goes well. Don't break a leg, because, you don't want that happening in the surgery bay. For Giraffe, for Hawk, for MC, for Eric, I am Julian. Live long and prosper. Sarcastic Vulcan salute. Majram. Good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.